don't think it's a setup per se. I think it's everyone plays into the narrative.
Everyone plays into their... And by the way, is this really bad for Dorit, who doesn't necessarily have the most interesting storyline?
But now we're talking about her.
Yeah.
And then Garcelle jumped in.
And it's kind of like next season, I mean, is Dorit definitely coming back? I'm not sure of that. Well, she's fighting with Kyle. That's not a bad thing for her future on the show.
No, that's a great thing for her future. But just when you think certain housewives have gone the way of the dodo, they pop up again.
They do pop up, some more than others these days.
And Brandi has popped up again.
Yes.
With all sorts of crazy allegations, denials, finger pointing. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Right. So she, Caroline Manzo is going after Bravo and the production company and saying this happened on Girls Trip, which...
We'll remind people what happened.
Yeah. I mean, she's saying, like Brandi was basically sexually harassed her and that they were in the bathroom and Brandi... I mean, lots of things leading up to that. And she basically forced herself on Caroline.
Which is actually sexual assault.
Sexual assault, I think.
Not harassment.
Yes, correct. And I think she's claiming sexual assault against Bravo, against the production company, Shed Media, and Warner Brothers, the parent company. So she's filed a lawsuit. Yeah, but Brandi's not named because, I mean, she's saying she did, but she's not named in the lawsuit.
Which is interesting, I guess, but does she have a separate lawsuit against Brandi?
She's just, I don't think Brandi has what they say, deep pockets.
True.
I mean, that's just my nice way of saying I think she's having some financial issues. No offense.
But Brandi's denying the whole thing.
She is.
But wasn't there a situation where they've already gone through this with a waiter?
That is something totally separate, yes. And he is also suing and saying that Brandi did this and he felt uncomfortable. But I don't know if he's actually suing Brandi either. He might be. But I think he's suing the production company and Bravo, too.
But are we seeing a pattern of behavior?
Yes.
This isn't good.
Right? Right? There's a lot. It seems like there's a lot lately, right?
Well, there's always
with housewives.
There's always a lot, but we have the same sort of characters popping up left, right, and center. Because just when you thought it had nothing to do with her, Bethenny's now jumped into this whole thing.
That's who I thought you were going to mention before.
Right, which is hilarious to me because what was the last time Bethenny was on Housewives?
For someone who's over it, she is talking a lot about housewives. And she also doesn't really, do her research. She was outraged the other day. Outraged that, Dorit and Bravo would leak these texts. But it's not. Bravo didn't leak them. It's not on the show. So I think Bethenny thinks that they were on the show. And she's and Kyle's their favorite. And if they treat her like this, I mean, she just wants to
Well, first of all, Kyle is their favorite.
They love Kyle.
Kyle is the star of the show. For years and years and years and years and years.
Yes.
Kyle is the one.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're not going to do anything to upset Kyle. But with Bethenny, who was their superstar and still is very much in the discussion about Housewives, suddenly now she's jumping in and complaining about Kyle being protected, which is so weird because Bethenny's whole thing has been about protecting these women in the show.
Are you saying Bethenny contradicts herself?
I am not saying that at all. I will not say anything negative about Bethenny because A, she's always been lovely to me, and B, she scares me.
Yeah, she's a little scary.
She's a little scary.
Yeah.
You don't want her coming after you.
No.
But I have no reason to not like her. But I do think, and she's very smart.
She's very smart.
Bethenny is probably the smartest housewife to come through that show.
She knows what she's doing.
So somehow she's now inserted herself into not only the Brandi thing, she's inserted herself into the Kyle Maurizio storyline.
Yeah. And she feels it's so inappropriate to leak these texts.
But again, like you said, the network didn't leak them. Dorit leaked them.
Right. So I don't think...
So was she mad at Dorit?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's mad at Dorit too. She's mad at the network. I think she doesn't realize the network didn't leak them. I think it's just another excuse for her to jump on Bravo and like, how dare they do this to someone in their most vulnerable moment. It's really Dorit. So just, a little fact-checking Bethenny Frankel. I'm not coming for either because we don't want Bethenny upset with me either.
And she hates Bravo. She hates the production company, but there is one person she hates most of all. Andy.
Yes.
And her lawyers have now sent another letter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's the same lawyers that are the reality reckoning lawyers. So I don't know. Like, when I read... So, like, Brandi was accusing Andy of sexual harassment. He apologized.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry.
Pause. So, Brandi's been twice now accused of sexual harassment, and now she's pointing and saying, but Andy sexually harassed me. Now, I'm just going to point out something.
Point it out.
In case nobody's noticed. Andy's gay.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
I don't think there is any question. I do not believe Andy is bisexual.
No.
I do not believe Andy has any interest at all in women except maybe about fashion.
I would agree with that.
Oh, and he likes skincare products.
And, he likes his friend Kelly Ripa.
Yeah, I mean, he has his girlfriends.
Yes.
But I think never once, no matter how much anyone's had to drink, he would ever be like,
no.
Dive in.
No. I would agree with that.
I would like to know if he'd ever been with a woman.
I think he said that he hasn't. I feel like he said that somewhere, that he was a gold star gay. You know that term, don't you?
No, what's that term?
Oh, gold star gay. It means you have never slept with a woman. I don't know if it applies to like fooling around, but I think gold star gay definitely means you've never slept with a woman.
But don't you think
I think he's a gold star.
But I'm saying, but don't you think a lot of, depending on where they're from, a lot of men who are gay sometimes feel like they're trying to be straight, to fit in.
And then sleep with women, yes.
Right, or at least like make out or something like that.
You know what, Melissa? Some of them go and get married and spend 10 years married to them. And
that is a whole separate topic about, and in a lot of ways, a lot of times people say like, oh, that's horrible. How could they do that to their wives? I actually feel bad a lot of the times because they're so unhappy and not honoring who they are that they feel like they have to live this whole separate life that then completely destroys a family or can destroy it.
You look at like Peter Jacobson and Fran Drescher, they're like best friends.
Exactly.
Which I don't know how that happens.
I think,
if you and I were married for 10 years and I said, Melissa, I'm gay,
I would say, oh, I'm shocked.
You would say, no kidding, that's why I married you. We've had such a great time together.
Well, have you seen these things on like Instagram and TikTok about these people who are literally coming out and saying, I'm gay, or I'm gay and I'm straight, but we're married and we're best friends?
No.
You haven't seen these? Oh, I've seen like a whole handful of them.
Really?
It's very interesting, and they talk about why it works. Because it's really about companionship and loving someone and having someone there for you.
Did they get married knowing this? Like,
yes.
Oh, so it's just like we live in a nice house and you have your bedroom, I have
exactly. And
it's not horrible.
No, and they're like, we are genuinely, emotionally in love with each other. We're just not physically attracted.
Now, granted, I don't see any difference in that and just like having, you're my friend, I'm at your house today.
But it does, for a lot of people, it has to do with like insurance. It has to do with benefits. It has to do with these different, really boring reasons.
Okay, so you get some benefits out of it. Okay, listen, if the house is big enough and you each have your own separate area,